What's up? It's your girl Kelly coming straight at you for the Queen Tarot Bee in Boston. So, this is a planetary update. I just want you guys to know that. It's going to be a long planetary update. I figured since we're all sick of seeing COVID-19, all those sick of seeing COVID-19, raise your motherfucking hand. And all sick of seeing the president, raise your motherfucking hand. Or hearing about a check that we're not going to see for like 6 months. Okay, good, moving on. So I made 2 videos last night, and one talked about exactly what was going on and the need that we need to work together right now. Please take a look at it. It tells a lot of what is going on and what has happened and transpired. I have good sources. I am a good source since my gift is genuine. Okay, I can tell you exactly what is going on, when it's going on, and sometimes when it's going to happen, depending on what I hear. So, with all of us being sick of hearing about that, I figured I'd do a planetary update that told everybody what the planets were getting into, what kind of trouble these little troublemakers were getting into. Starting with the fact that we had a Cancerian full moon, okay? Now, the moon, as we know, changes, and it changes in cycles. It can be waxing gibbous, it can be waning gibbous, it can be full, it can be all of these different, moon phases, from a new moon to a crescent moon to a half moon, and it slowly builds its way up to that full moon. Okay, so we're not all idiots. We don't need the fucking lesson, Kelly. I get it. But right now, we had a Cancerian full moon. And the Cancerian full moon talks a lot about your emotions and hiding them away and not wanting to talk about them. So if you're hiding your emotions away right now, and you're not wanting to speak out, and you're not wanting to say, hey, you hurt my feelings like you normally would, your throat chakra's blocked, look at that, that would explain why you're feeling that way, okay? It's in Virgo right now with the waxing gibbous. It's 18 degrees into Virgo. So, thought I heard someone there, but nobody's there. It is currently 18 degrees into Virgo. So the waxing gibbous is where it's almost full, but there's a little bit missing. So it's starting to go back down to a new moon. Just so you know, surgical procedures are not recommended during this moon. Okay, especially in Cancer. So that's a huge thing that I want you guys to know. Surgical procedures are absolutely not recommended during this moon. But I did happen to look at, of course, when Mercury goes retrograde for 2020. Of course, we know that it went retrograde 217 to 39. And so after that, we had the Merc retro shadow. And so that Merc retro shadow went all the way from 39 to April 1st. And that's why I told everybody, don't make decisions, don't do anything you regret, don't do anything that's, crazy or funny or acts out of character for you. Right now, just stick to the basics, stick to what you know, right? All right, good. So, we talked about that. Now, Merc retro, again, now I had to take notes, y'all. This is a lot. This is going to be a long planetary update, but where are you going? I'm sorry, you're quarantined for the rest of your life right now. So, as of right now, you have nothing else to do but to watch a planetary update, and I actually took the time from last night all the way to today to research everything that was going on in the universe, because I can't keep it all in my head, so that I could do this update for you guys. So it is 10:48 and I am just finishing my research. I'm waiting for my daughter to get up so that we can feed her and I can go to bed because I'm tired. I've been researching since yesterday. Moving on. So the next time Mercury goes retrograde, started in February of 17th, 2020, and then 3/9/2020. The next time it goes retrograde is actually June 18th through July 12th. So the 3rd of July, kiss it goodbye. Because we are going to be in Merc retro. Stay away from your cars, stay away from your computers, stay away from your electronics, stay away from your phones. Like, I swear. Last time it was my laptop camera wasn't working right. There was no sound, so I bought a camera. I didn't like the sound on the camera. It was too low. All of you were complaining. So I got a microphone, and now that's the way that I'm having to do it. I have no USB plugs left. Everything's plugged in. I work on an ergonomic keyboard, so that has to be plugged in, and an ergonomic mouse. Yeah, I have to use all that stuff. So everything is everywhere. Typical Aries, right? Chaotic mess, but you can find anything you need. So just know it's going to come back in. Mercury retrograde. I'm all over the place, I know. Must be all the coffee. Is coming back June 18th through 7/12. 12. God, I need sleep or more coffee. I'm not really sure which one of those I need. Then it's going to come back October 14th through November 4th. So those are the dates. 2/17 to 3/9, 6/18 to 7/12, and 10/14 to 11/4. And those of you making fun of me because I have to look at my list, I'll catch up with y'all later. I'm an old lady now. I'm 40. I turned 40 March 27th. Who knew? Happy birthday to me. No, really, I had a great birthday, though. My husband and my best friend actually got together and did a cookout for me, and I got 6 dozen flowers because nobody could get anything but flowers. It was so cute. I loved it. I still have flowers all over the house. Okay, so on March 20th, we had a Mars-Jupiter equinox there. And then Saturn joined at sunrise. And so that is just really important because of what Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn all stand for. Now, a lot of you don't realize that, and I'm going to hit you with all kinds of facts and shit like that. Sit back and relax, okay? I'm doing this because we're all stuck in quarantine. Yay! For those of you who didn't know, I'm jacked. I look jacked like a man. Sorry. I worked out every day of my life. But anyway, Venus is the brightest planet. And it's conjunct with Pleiades right now, Pleiades is a star cluster. It's a cluster of stars that kind of stick around together and make up this little formation. And also, just know that because Venus is the brightest, it's only lights up in April, okay? So there's another fun fact that you guys can share with the kids. Since I'm censored, you can share it. And it's also the third brightest celestial body to light up the sky after the sun and the moon. So imagine that aside from the sun and the moon, this is the third celestial body to light up the sky, the brightest. That is awesome to think about. To think about how massive this galaxy really is, how beautiful it is, and how beautiful this earth is, and how we need to come to her aid right now. There was a huge milestone because there was the greatest elongation, okay? 46 degrees east from the sun on March 24th, 2020. Then it hit another milestone where Pleiades was conjunct with a star let me try that again. Pleiades, the star cluster, was conjunct in early April. And then you can refer to Venus as the star for April, the star all April long. It's very interesting because we look at it as the evening star. So, moving on. Another fun fact. We call it the evening star. So Mercury will make its morning in exhibition for the first few weeks of April. Okay, so Mercury will be coming in the first few weeks of April, very, very early. There'll be a harsh glow to it before dawn. It's not something that can be just, it pops up and then the sun comes up. The three other morning planets are Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and they rise well before dawn will in April 2020. So if you're up all night, then you'll probably see it. You may not see it if it's not visible to the naked eye or it's cloudy. You may want to see if you can get a telescope or look on NASA's website, because I think they have one there too. Who knows how truthful it is. Outside it looks a little bit better. I always wanted a telescope, but I never got one. I've been into stars and planets since I was 6 years old. So I should have gotten one, but I never did. So anyway, so mid-April, all three, Jupiter, Mars, and the moon come close to aligning. Okay, so they come close to alignment, which is really cool, because to see three planets aligned, well, the moon isn't a planet, but just stating, like, to see three of these celestial beings aligned like that, and to know that that affects us as people, to know that that affects us as our moods, our vehicles, our entire government. As I get further into it, you'll start to hear what I'm talking about. Jupiter is the first to rise in April of 2020. Okay, so then it's Saturn, then it's Mars. So you got Jupiter rising first, Saturn, Mars, and then the sun comes up. Now, Mars will rise 3 hours before the sunrise. So right now, the sunrise here is about 6 o'clock, 6:30. So it will rise 3 hours before that, which will be like 3:30. So unless you're a night owl, you probably won't see much of Mars. And it's kind of an exciting year for Mars for 2022. It's dramatic and bright as the Earth closes in on the planet. Okay, so it's super dramatic, super bright, and it's the year for Mars. It's 2020 is the year. Okay, which for us Aries, that's exciting, and Scorpio, because they're partially ruled by Mars. But for us Aries, that's exciting because our planet is finally getting some motion, some movement, getting to get some of that aggression and war out, and that's less aggression and war energy for us. We like that. Just saying. Okay, so Jupiter is the second brightest planet that will rise in the morning in 4/20/20. Just saying. I know there's some of you watching who caught that. But anyway, Jupiter is the second brightest planet in the morning to rise after Mars. Okay. It is, looks like 3.5 hours before the sun. So it would be 4.5 hours for Mars, I guess. But it's gaining prominence in April of 2020. Okay, so Saturn is gaining Jupiter is gaining its prominence in 2020, in April of 2020, and so is Mars. I'm going to tell you all the significance of this. I just want to break it down scientifically and explain it. I'm trying to explain it in layman's terms as well, because not everybody follows this stuff, and not only that, but not everybody is versed in it, because they don't care to be, they may not understand it. It's a lot. So moving on, So, oh, this is exciting. So, the waning crescent moon is going to swing close to Saturn on, oh, you guessed it, today. Okay? So, the moon is going to swing really close to Saturn today. And that is fucking awesome. Okay? That is an amazing feat. 2020 might be a mess, but the stars are sure lining up for us to do what we need to do. And I love it because the stars are backing me up, the cards are backing me up, and my people are backing me up. Keep sharing those videos. Ooh. All right. Anyway, let's see. First quarter moon is 4/1/2020. That will be like late night through early morning. So a lot of us probably won't see it. So I'm going to explain some of the moon phases so they make sense. Okay. You've got the waxing crescent. It's when a darkened portion of the crescent moon glows dimly with light reflected from the moon. So when you look at the moon and it's partially covered instead of a full, right? It's partially covered, but you can still see the light. This is exactly what they're talking about. You can still see the outline of the moon, but there's clouds over it. At least that's the way it will appear to you. That's what they're talking about when they're talking about the waxing crescent. So you've got the big moon and then you got the little crescent. Okay? And you could see the rest of the moon, but you just can't see the entire thing. Just the shadow or the outline. The waxing gibbous is more than half lighted, but less than full. So if that makes sense to you, it's more than lit up halfway, but it's also still less than full. Usually rises before sundown. And then it sets somewhere between midnight and dawn. Okay? There's no specific time. How do I keep fixing this thing? Then there's the quarter moon. Half the moon faces us, half by the sun. Okay? So I'm trying to think of the easiest way to explain it. Half of that moon faces us and the other half faces the sun. Okay? And that's the quarter moon. And then there's the new moon, the youngest moon, the nothing moon. Now, here's the funny thing right now. I just wanted to go over those with you. It's not every single phase of the moon, but you've got the waxing crescent. So there's a crescent and you can still see the outline, but it's dark. You've got the waxing gibbous, which is more than half lighted, but less than a full moon. So you can see it lit, but it's not a full moon. Then you've got the quarter moon, where half the moon faces us, half the moon faces the sun. And then you've got the new moon, which is the youngest of all moons. Right now, all 5 of those planets that I just discussed are bright. This doesn't happen all the time, okay? This is something that is coming to us years from now. The next time it will happen is like 2033. For some of these events, others, it will be 400 years before these planets align again. Okay? I can't wait till I get to the best part, because one sign is going to be extremely happy and the other signs are going to have to learn how to work with the energy of what's going on. Okay? You're going to have to learn and face it at some point. You're going to have to face the fact that we're in the situation we're in. It is what it is. It's getting no better from here. So please watch the videos from last night. If you're not into the 444 portal, then you don't have to watch that. But please watch the other one. Like, share, subscribe. Let's just be real about the situation we're sitting in. The sky has never seen anything like this in 400 years. Some of these things won't happen again for another 13 years. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I'm going to be alive in 13 years. I'm 40. That will make me 53. I might be a fossil by then. You never know. Oh, it'll be crusty. Never mind. I don't want to talk about that. Venus right now is the closest to Earth, and it shines. It's bright. And I know I can see Venus. I look at it all the time, and I see how, as a star, it changes color constantly. I have really good eyes. Actually, I don't technically need these. My daughter took all the moisture from my eyes. And now that I'm not pregnant anymore, I don't have to wear them. I just wear them to make sure and to verify that I'm seeing things the way they are. I have 20/20 vision. Just waiting for it to come back. So where Venus is the closest to Earth, Mercury appears as the smallest. Okay? So let's see, what else do I have for you guys today? Sorry, you're just staring at me. One moment, please. So, I'd really, if you would like, guys, please take a look at the video that I made last night, okay? Please take a good look at it. Take a good look at everybody. Try to awaken everybody that's around you. If they don't want to awaken, allow them to awaken by taking a good look at things around them. You may have to give them a bit of a wake-up call, like, our money doesn't mean anything. Our stock market crashed. Our government isn't doing shit. I don't know about you guys, but my government's sending out $1,200 checks in 6 months. What are we going to do with those? Pay the thousands of dollars of back rent that we owe. That's what we're going to do with it. That's if we're still living there and we're not evicted. Since they can turn off our lights or whatever, then they can evict us, right? Anyway, today, I wanted to go over what your big six are, okay? Just for the fact that people always ask me, what do you mean by the big six? I'm talking about your big six planets. Your sun, your moon, your ascending or rising. It goes by both names. So if you're looking at a birth chart and you don't find rising, look for ascending. That is your rising sign. So your sun, your moon, your rising or ascending, your Mercury, your Mars, and Venus. Now, for me, for instance, mine is Sun in Aries, Leo in Moon, Aries rising, Mercury Pisces, Mars Leo. So I'm a quadruple fire sign, which means 4 out of my 6 planets are fire. And then my Venus is in Taurus. So I'm an Aries sun, a Leo moon, an Aries rising, and a Mars Leo. Then I have Pisces and I have Taurus. So out of my big 6, I have 4 planets that are blazing. I'm fire. I'm a fire girl all day. So your sun is your personality, your emotions, the way that you take the world in. I take the world in. I'm going to use myself as an example, as an Aries. I see the world as an Aries, okay? This is your inner mood, your innermost self. This is what the sun is. And then also I'll get more into what's going on in the sky, but I wanted to touch base with you guys so that you understand how this reflects and how this is going to affect you during this time, okay? And what I'm talking about with Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto and blah, blah, blah. So your sun is your personality. Your sun is the way that you take things in. Now, your moon is your innermost emotions. It's how you process things. If you think of yourself, you're a computer. You intake, you process, you outtake. Okay? Then you have other influencing factors. as a computer, it's what people install, it's what they, put on the computer. It's just, there's a number of factors there that just totally sway. So it's the same thing with this. So those are your big six: your sun, your moon, your rising or ascending, your Mercury, your Mars, and your Venus. So that's why I always say this can apply to all of those when I do a reading, because technically it can, okay? Then you have your rising and your ascending, and that is how you present yourself to the world. It's how you input, process, and then output, okay? Once you've thought it through and once you thought about how you want to handle things, it's how you output. It's how the world sees you. Then you have Mercury, which is like your mind, your perception, your learning, your intellect, okay? So Mercury is how your mind takes things in and works. It's how your wheels turn, guys. Then you have Mars, which is your passion, your aggression, your war fighting aftermath, your bloody explosion of after you're done being mad, okay? It's how you get angry. Where Mercury is how you're learning, your intellect, your emotions, okay? So you got Mercury, emotions. Then you have Mars, is the way you argue, is the way you get into revenge, is the way that you warrior on. Whatever sign you have in that Mars is the way you handle aggressive situations in your life. Then you have Venus, okay? This is the planet of love and sex. This is simply that. Venus is how you love somebody. Mine's in Taurus, so I love like a Taurus. But I'm also an Aries sun, a Leo moon, an Aries rising, and a Mars Leo. Okay, so I have the loyalty factor times 2, especially with the Taurus and the Aries. Leo as well. They're not known to cheat. Aries men, I'm going to yell at you guys because you are known to cheat, and I'm going to call you out in your shit because, well, it's me. But then you have Jupiter, which is growth, expansion, healing, prosperity, good fortune, miracles, all that shit that everybody talks about. Oh, it was a 11th hour miracle. Shit just happens. You know what's funny? I noticed the other day, this is totally useless, but it's a random fact about me. I am supposed to be right-handed, but I can't snap right-handed. I'm actually ambidextrous, and I can only snap with my left. My right, I cannot snap with, but I can snap with my left. Weird. I like being ambidextrous. It's pretty awesome. Then you have Saturn, okay, which rules Capricorn. And it's about restrictions. It's about putting restrictions on money, on, communications with other people, on, fighting with others, on contracts, on it. There's just restrictions everywhere, okay? Restrictions on everything. Capricorn is a very strict sign. They want to make sure that they have for when they get older. They want to make sure that they're very meticulous in what they do, even in communication and the words that they use. Then there's rules, regulations, and authority, which are also related. Now, with the rules, regulations, and authority, you can clearly see why I'm bringing this up tonight. Okay? You can see why I'm going through the big six. Number one, because it's like the number one question I get when people are like, what's the big six? Well, the big six is the most important 6 planets of your life. But, just saying. Better you learn than you never learn, right? Better late than never. It's that old adage thing again. So, then you have Pluto. Now, sometimes Pluto and Mars get together, like when you're a Scorpio, and they're ruthless. They're merciless, okay? They are just all revenge. Mars is the planet of war, Okay, it's the planet of Aries, the god of war, and Aries, the warrior of the zodiac. Even the women are masculine. I'm not afraid to say I'm masculine. I'm masculine. Anything that a man could do, I could do for myself as well before I had this surgery, but that's a whole nother story. But I worked out, I took my trash out, I carried boxes, I carried furniture by myself, I did whatever I had to do. Even the women are built like warriors. We could fight. So when those two get together, you're talking about fighters, unforgiving, vengeful, bloodlust. Okay? Because you throw Pluto in there, and Pluto has that dark aspect, that mysterious aspect, that aspect of making you wanna, keep to yourself and keep your secrets and your mysteries to yourself, which of course makes you attractive to other people. Right? Right. That's why Scorpio is such a beautiful sign. That's why Aries are such a beautiful sign, and Taurus is such a beautiful sign. But Scorpio is the only, and I repeat, only sign that has two planets that rule them completely. And both of them are war and aggression. Okay? Mars and Pluto. Mars is their fighter aspect, their get up and never stop getting up. Pluto is their dark sense of humor, their serial killer side, as I like to pick on my husband. And so you have to understand what a dynamic sign they are, okay? And why it's so interesting that these two planets rule them together. Because they are ruthless, okay? Merciless, just vengeful and hateful, and just an Aries and a Scorpio. I married a Scorpio, and I'm a quadruple fire. He's Scorpio, Sag, and I'm Aries, Leo, Aries. Leo. Just saying. So today, Jupiter, Plato, and Pallas. Pallas is one of the lesser dwarf stars that didn't quite make it as a planet. They looked at it and they were like, oh yeah, as usual, like the bully. You're not cool enough. You can't hang out with us. So you're going to be like a superstar or some shit like that. And we're going to be these big, beefy planets. Okay? Think of it that way. So today, Jupiter, Pluto, Pallas are all conjunct, okay? And the king planet of Jupiter, the fourth brightest, here is what's funny, is that Jupiter and Pluto are going to stay like this all through 2020. That's the part that gets me. They're going to stay like this all through 2020, and that's not really heard of, okay? Now when we talk about conjunct, we talk about, you know what, let me get into that when I get there. But the Earth will be between Pluto and the Sun on July, I'd say July 5th through 6th. So today into tomorrow, right? Yeah, because today's the 5th. So the Earth will be between Pluto and the Sun, right smack in between, today and tomorrow. So if there's a possibility, like I said, to try and see it, there's so many stars, it's hard to tell what's Pallas, what's Juno, what's Chiron, what's this, what's that, what the hell does Jupiter even look like? Like, it makes sense, but if you look at NASA's Star Center, I believe they have a huge Hubble telescope there, and you can sign in and actually watch it. You can check it out for July 5th through 6th. It's like an exceptional year for Pluto and Jupiter. I mean, exceptional. They are like side by side this whole year. They're together more than apart 3 times in 2020. They will be together April 5th through 6th, June 30th through 31st, and then the last time they come together before 2020 ends is 11/12 through 11/13/2020. So if you missed it, 4, 5 through 6, 6, through 6:30 through 31st. And then the last time they come together is November 12th, 2020. Okay, that's the last time. And sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place tonight. It's just one of those days. So it will be visible in the sky is what they are saying. They're saying you'll be able to see it. So you won't need to really sign on to the telescope or have a telescope. They're saying it will be visible in the sky and it will be bright as hell. Here is the part that I got excited about in the very beginning that I said I'll wait till I get there. These are all going to be aligned in front of the constellation Sagittarius. My daughter's Sagittarius sun, Sagittarius moon, Scorpio rising, Scorpio Mars, Mercury Scorpio, and then a Venus Capricorn. She is a double Sag. I cannot wait to see what this year brings for this child. It's going to be beautiful because, you know, Jupiter and Pluto just hanging out together like that for an entire year is so dynamic and so interesting. And so it's going to bring different things into our lives. Now, I told you what each planet stood for in the beginning, okay? And so now you get a basic idea. I did the big 6 and then I went and did the rest of them. I went through the whole fucking list. And I told you what each planet stands for. So if you need to timestamp them so that you can go back and listen and look again, someone please feel free to timestamp. Me personally, I couldn't be bothered. And it's not because I don't love you guys. I love you, but I'm fucking tired. It's 11:20 at night. And I decided I was going to make a long video tonight, which is going to take an hour to upload. So, moving on. I'm super excited for it to be aligned in front of Sagittarius. Number one, well, I'm a fire sign. Do I have any Sag in my chart? I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. But for my daughter, it's going to be one hell of a tremendous year to have those planets lined up in conjunct in front of Sagittarius. That is bomb. Now, to talk about what's going on now. Let me think. Oh, did you know that Jupiter outshines Pluto by several million times? That's actually a fact. Jupiter is actually brighter than Pluto by several million times. Okay, so think of whatever huge number times. So you're talking about something that will literally light up the sky for you to see. Now, I went in my backyard and tried to look, but unfortunately, it's all muddy right now, and it's been raining, and it's been gale force winds, and then today it was 60. It's been freezing for like a week and raining nonstop, and then today it was 60 and sunny. There's no weather manipulation there or anything, folks. Don't worry, they're not trying to drag more of the coronavirus this way. It lives in anything under like 87 degrees and humidity. Just putting that out there. So, when two planets are said to be conjunct is when they reside in the north and south of one another on the sky's dome, okay? North, think of this as a globe, okay? Think of this. Here's your globe. One resides up here and one resides down here. Okay? And that's what they're saying. For two planets to be conjunct is whenever they reside in the north and the south. And when they talk about the sky's dome, they're giving you a picturesque idea of how it should look. Little circle, for those of you who are flat earthers, fine, whatever. Flat, north, south, whatever you want. I don't care. Just take the message. Sit down and just take the fucking message. I'm being guided to do this for you tonight. I don't know why, but I'm here and I'm doing it. So sit down and whatever. But in 2033, the conjunct is going to be so close to the sun that even Jupiter is lost in the sun's rays. So in 13 years, when this happens, and Jupiter comes close again, this is not going to be happening for quite some time. But in 2033, Jupiter will get so close that the sun's glare will block it out. That is fucking cool. That the planets can get that close to each other without colliding. That's unbelievable. This is like a solitary event, okay? Like, this is one of those things that, like, you try to get on tape, but you know how the moon looks like this when you're looking at it, but then your camera makes it look like this. It's very fucking annoying. And it's rare because Jupiter has to catch Pluto prograde, okay? Now, we've talked about retrograde, so that's when it spins counterclockwise. So it spins the other way. It's going the wrong way. Now, prograde is when it spins in the right way, and it moves around in the solar system. Retrograde is when it spins backwards and it causes havoc, and it tortures all your devices and cuts all your communication with people. That too. So it's hard because it's very rare for Jupiter to catch Pluto in prograde. And here we are 3 times in 1 year. So that's very interesting. But then to find out the conjunct is actually sitting in front of the constellation of Sagittarius has such a deep meaning. Because it's also the age of Aquarius. And like I said, it's not the age of the individual anymore with Pisces. It's the age of groups and healing and bringing the earth back to where it needs to be. And giving and being kind to one another. It's about the way my people, as an partially indigenous person, did things. They traded. They made sure that everyone in their village had a blanket, had something warm to eat a couple times a day, had a family, had somewhere to sleep, wasn't outside in the cold. We're going to start pulling together. No more homeless children. No more homeless. No more hungry. We're going to start taking care of each other. This is what is so amazing about this and why I'm doing this. This is why you're sitting here listening to me babble about a bunch of shit. Now, here's the funny part, because their merger in the sky, I wrote this down because I couldn't believe it. Their merger in the sky and the matters they rule and forecast are, I can't even read my own writing. Good Lord. Are redrafting of financial policy. I'm going to read that again. Their merger in the sky and the matters they rule forecast the redrafting of financial policy. Now, we're seeing that right now. They're trying to redraft financial policy, and they can't because the dollar doesn't mean shit here in the United States. And the pound doesn't mean shit in London. And the peso doesn't mean shit in Mexico. It didn't to begin with. None of this money system means anything. Doesn't mean a thing. It also stands for coercion, increased living costs, selling pressures, drastic and coercive trade events, trade pacts, favors for cash or gifts, a tidal wave of corruption. This is what these planets are aligning to right now. In case you missed that, these planets are aligning and they're creating financial corruption right now. So it's not just me saying it. It's not just me saying, look the fuck around, guys, if you don't believe me. Take a good look around. Who's not sitting in their house unless you're out running or getting necessities, the essentials? You're sitting around and staring at each other like a bunch of dumbasses. Admit it. We're doing it here. So if you're not doing it, I'm staring at the baby, she's staring at me. You know, dad's staring at us, she looks at dad. Then we're staring at my best friend and her daughter, and we're all just fucking staring at each other. Why? Because of the way the planets are lined up right now. Okay? And this is not something we want to see again. We don't want to see this mess. But here we are. How are we going to fix it? We're going to go back a couple 100 years. We're going to erase settlers from coming here. And we're going to do it exactly the way indigenous people did it. It works. Everybody has the same, everybody hunts, everybody gathers, everybody gets firewood, everybody sits around and respects the fucking earth. Thank you to the indigenous for the jingle dances. I want to tell you, I love you. Thank you all for your grass dances, your jingle dances, for everything. Everything that you are doing for this earth to try to heal her and make her livable. Now, Jupiter is going to be conjunct with Pluto, okay? So Jupiter is humanity's kind of moral compass. And right now we don't fucking have one. We have no moral values left. That's what I wrote. We, with a huge exclamation point. No moral values left. So Jupiter comes in with its moral compass and it's all uppity, and here's a planet full of lunatics. We have no moral compass. We step over the dying. We leave our veterans on the street. We treat people like shit. And meanwhile in China, they're forcing a certain group of Muslims to try to convert them religiously. And then Orthodox is trying to cover up child abuse. Yes, I got this all from the stars. From looking at where the planetary alignments are. But nobody sees this going on because COVID-19 and we're all dying and Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Meanwhile, they're also passing a bill that they can listen to any person's conversations, messages, voicemails. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're not in trouble. They're trying to pass a bill where they can listen to all our conversations right now. Nope. No conspiracy theorists here. Truth. Now, Jupiter is an Orthodox religion where Pluto is the planet of atheism. Okay? Pluto is hardcore atheism. And you're talking about it's a planet of materialistic atheism. Okay? It's a planet of just material and 3D and what you own and all of this bullshit. But really, when you think about it, you die and you're in your ethereal form, which is technically only supposed to happen in the second dimension. I don't really buy that. I think that you are in your ethereal form when you're in the 5D. Your mind is there all the time. It doesn't mean your body's always there. But when your body's there, it's in the ethereal form. Now, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Probably be good for you to learn some things because I've been on here a little too long. So, we're looking at this, right? And we're trying to figure out, how do we fix it? If these characters are going to be hanging out for this long, how do we fix this? We go back to when the Indians, and we're not Indians because Christopher Columbus thought he was in India. Really? So he called it us Indians. This isn't India. Had he landed in India, life would be a lot different right now. This wouldn't be happening. We go back to the way it was when taxes were an option, okay? Taxes were actually an option until we gave too much control to the government and the elected officials. And now, taxes, not optional. You go to jail if you don't pay taxes. Our idea of taxes at the end of the day was to put in whatever we collected, harvested, hunted, whatever, all of our blankets, everything, and make sure that every single man, woman, and child had something to eat, something to drink, somewhere to sleep. Every single village had a place for everyone to sit at the dinner table for food. Every single place to sleep. Shit was fair. It was a barter system. Hey, I need, dry meat, and you need, blankets. And we would sit there and we would barter back and forth and we would trade and go on our fucking way. None of this money bullshit. None of this trying to figure out how to bring a society back together. None of this trying to figure out how to fix an economy. We created a fucking economy. There wasn't even an economy before. And now you can't even get a place to live unless your credit's good. But guess what? You're fired. And you're out of work for indefinitely. Pay your bills, please. Make sure that your lights don't get turned off because it'll go on your credit. Make sure you pay all those credit cards because, it will go on your credit. And when the economy comes up, go and apply for a credit card, or maybe go and apply for, a place to live. And see how far that credit gets you then. Now you're in the 95% that don't matter. How are we going to fix it? This is your girl Keli coming straight at you for the Queen's Tarot B in Boston. I love you. I figured I'd drop some planetary alignments and things like that on you so you understand why the world is the way that it is today. So if you're interested in this, please pass along the video. Even if you're not interested, please like, share, subscribe. Get this information out there so people understand why the world is the way that it is right now, why the things that are happening. The whole world shut down. Everybody's nosy. Everybody wants to know that shit. So please feel free to share the video, like the video, subscribe, share it on Facebook, share it wherever the fuck you want to. Again, your girl Keli coming straight at you for the Queen Tarot B in Boston, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye. Oh, and if you need a private reading, I'm having a sale right now. 15 minutes is $20. 30 minutes, $30. 45 minutes is $40. A whole hour, 60 minutes is $50. So I'm having a sale on that, and I'm having a 10% off on light work in lieu of everything that's going on and people still needing help. I'm also having discounts on my monthly, and my monthly is paid by you each month. I don't dig into bank accounts, but if you want a list of services, please hit me up first. I need to schedule with you and this and that. But just know that there are monthlies to work on inner child work, to work on lessons, spiritual guidance, whatever it is that you may need, trauma counseling, whatever you need. I am there. I'm a former forensic rehab specialist. So whatever you got going on, guys, I can help you deal with it. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.